Hello, this is the 4.5 Pickleball. I'm back with another match review. This time I'm reviewing a match of my own, and this is a recent tournament that I played. This is the gold medal match, and you can see I'm starting about 7 minutes in because our first game of the match was pretty quick, and there's a lot more for me to point out strategy-wise in the second match. So let's get into it. I'm gonna fast forward a bit here. Here we go. Nice. So this point is a pretty good indicator for how the rest of this game went. They targeted a lot of dinks to my backhand side, especially their drops, which I'll continue to point out. You can see I'm stepping off the line here. I just decided to do this to give me a little bit more time. Perhaps I should be short hopping this ball, but they weren't putting a lot of pressure on me, so I had time to step back a little bit. And I'm rallying cross court, looking for a flick there. Um, and he popped it up, so I was able to be aggressive. Tips wise, I think I had a good cross court dink here. Um, and they're just kind of far out of position. Maybe he didn't want to pull this back cross court, especially because they've seen my backhand flick and know that that could come. Okay, this is just a bad drop for me. I think I could try and keep my chest lower. I think I do a good job getting low to the ball, but then I pop up a little bit there. But it's okay to hit bad drops every once in a while. We just didn't reset and get back in the point. Okay, this is a good point. I liked that I decided to drive this ball because it was really far back, and I went hard to the middle to hopefully cause some confusion. You can see they both went for this ball, which gives me an easy fist shot. So I decided to go to his backhand. And I did that kind of upper forehand thing to try and fake out if I was going to be aggressive. Can't say if that's super effective, but you can see my paddle head is down here, so they don't know where I'm going to go with this, and I can go inside out like I did. And I'm trying to keep pressure on his backhand there. And he's kind of like he's short hopping those while I'm hitting heavy topspin, so I'm kind of on offense. I go middle there because it wasn't quite to the point that I could flick, but I'd still put my paddle out looking for a flick again there. And it's just nice to change up locations. Um, and I get my partner involved that way. And then this is just a silly speed up. This is me being impatient. I think I recognized that he had kind of stretched over on his partner's side and short hopped that ball, which maybe is why I got excited. But then I'm a ways off the line. I'm off balance. Um, and that's just not the right time to speed up. I also didn't really have a good target to go to there. Perhaps, yeah, the guy in green, his name is Tim. He's pretty far to the sideline there too, so I couldn't do an off speed up past him as well. Nice. I like this point. The one thing that I can point out is that people countered pretty well. Um, Good reset and digs from them here. I don't remember if there's just the one speed up. But here, Tim is in the green is a ways off the line when he speeds this up, giving me more time to react. But he's kind of just testing me, and I do a good job of just getting the ball down, especially when you're sped up at. It's very important to just focus on getting the ball down, and so because I got that down, we won that point. Nice. I actually like my choice to lob here. You can see I did the little up forehand thing. It's kind of like a jack sock cobra thing. I'm just experimenting with it. I think in my recent games I haven't been doing that as much, but in this tournament I guess I was experimenting with it. But you can see I get my paddle head low here, and so they don't know where I'm gonna go with this shot. And I like this lob. They both ran back expecting it to be in, and I just missed slightly. I think throwing in lobs in the beginning of the game, score as close is a good idea. It's a nice drop. Okay, I'm gonna rewind here, because Vince bails me out of this. My partner. I think I speed up pretty low, or no, not that one. I guess yeah, my attack. I think that's out of my forehand. I'm being aggressive, but um, I think the guy on the other side, his name is also Daniel. He's very much on this ball, and Vince. Has quick hands to get me back into it, so I probably should have been more patient there. And then another, oh no, they made the lob. Yeah, that's a very good point. One thing I can point out is I run around this and I just try and hit a drop into the kitchen to keep the point going. And then honestly, they lost this point because this was an impatient. He's way off the line here, and we've reset this. When the point has been going for a long time, it's very common that you see like more aggressive play. So keep that in mind. But you want to continue hitting good with good shot selection, and he was very much on his back foot there. And with Vince's lefty forehand, it was easy for him to cover that in the middle, and so we won that point there. Nice. Shaking, baking, like we just did there, a hard drive and then crashing for a poach is very effective for Vince and I because we have the lefty righty combo. It's very nice to have a lefty on your team that can drive as well, because then the left side right-handed player doesn't need to take so much court. And so because he's able to take this with his forehand here in the middle, I'm able to run up, and that's just a very good drive down the line, and I can crash on that. But know that you can look to be more aggressive with poaching when you have your forehand in the middle. And so it's nice when you can have the lefty forehand also in the middle to be more aggressive. Missed drop there. I think I just need more drilling. I don't know that there's a specific technique thing. And then a missed serve. So I think could have been a mental thing. I think I just had the nice poach and might have gotten a little frazzled, but I should not be missing those balls. Good drop. Again on this speed up here from the guy in the blue shorts. He's again a ways back off the kitchen, which gives me more time. And when he is kind of on the corner like that, I can kind of I can kind of shift over and just depend on my partner with the lefty forehand covering the middle, and I have more time to react here, so I'm able to get on this counter. Uh, so I wouldn't probably do that speed up. Lots of good dinking. And then I guess I got a little ambitious here, because he keeps this pretty low, and I was looking to flick there. But like I had said earlier, a big emphasis of this second game was that they were kind of dinking me to death on that backhand side, and I just really needed to be patient. Yeah, they probably should have been on this. So I think they wanted this one back. Um, yeah, I'm gonna fast forward a bit here, unless there's something specific I can pick out. But more backhand dinking for me, which is an emphasis on this match. Again, he's speeding up pretty far off the line here. Like, look, he's way back there, giving us more time to react. Um, so a better player might have even countered that better, but I'm still working on my fast hands on when I get sped up at. Like there, what could I have done better here? I think my paddle position is good. I just get chicken winged. So perhaps I should have shifted. Um, I could have shifted over farther just to not um, have to cover both shots because I can kind of depend on maybe even letting Vince have this ball in the middle if I have shifted farther because he'd hit a good cross court dink. But that's just a good speed up to my chicken wing. Okay, again, this is an impatient speed up for me. Um, right here. This is just a fine dink, and I'm moving pretty late to it. And I'm not in a good position here. Like the ball's really close to my body, and I'm trying to pull that across my body. And that's why I hit the net, and he was able to be more aggressive on it. Again here, I think he's going down the line here because I need to shift over farther, especially when I have a lefty forehand that can help cover the middle. Something that I need to work on is when the ball is on my sideline over there, I need to go and put my chest on the ball to be able to counter it easily. But instead, I get myself like caught reaching for a backhand really often. So I think I should have been shifted over farther to not even give him the possibility of this speed up down the line. And he probably shouldn't be going that for where he was court positioning wise, but I think I'd left it open. Oy. It was definitely the most dinking in a match that I've ever had. And I think this is a fine speed up because it's going to his back end. Their pedals are low. And there's going to be confusion of who's going for that. But it's pretty risky to be speeding up cross court like that. But I think um, with how long the point had been going, people might have been getting more tense. And at this level, people don't counter perfectly. So I think that was a fine speed up. Wow, very good hands. Um, I think I was backing up here because it was like pretty chaotic, and I was gonna try and reset back in. But I think I probably should have been up higher, just trusting my partner's fast hands to keep the speed going. It's a tough call. Oof. With this shot, I think Vince, my partner, should be going and not cross court, but instead to Tim, who was farther back. Okay. And then here, I call a timeout with Vince. And this was a very strategic timeout. Um, Both in terms because I was quite tired because I'd been doing a lot of backhand dinking. We had just had longer points, more long points than I was used to in pickleball. But then also I felt we're down quite a bit in this second match, and I wanted to talk strategy with my partner. And what I ended up coming up with him is that I wanted to try and dink straight ahead more often. And this was because when I dink straight ahead it's more likely that they're gonna hit cross court to my partner, so I could get him more involved. But if I just stay cross court, it's common that they're gonna stay cross court with me. But instead, like if I can dink straight ahead, they either have to challenge me straight ahead, and I ended up doing very well in these like fast hands, like straight ahead standoffs. But if I just keep the ball cross court, just angles wise, just going to keep going to me. So you'll see I try and mix in more straight ahead dinking. And then the other thing we decided to change at this moment is that we had kind of started to hit more drops for third shots, and we wanted to try driving more because that had worked really well in the beginning. So you'll see both that we look to be more aggressive with those drives and speed ups, and then I'm focusing on dinking straight ahead more often. So there's a straight ahead dink. I'm keeping it kind of in the middle. There's some cross court dinking. Go straight ahead. That now because I went straight ahead, now it's dinking back again. They tried to get it back to my backhand here. And then I like that I pulled the trigger here because I think straight ahead wise, my chances were pretty good hands wise. This is a good point. Nice. Okay, some things I can point out at the end of this point um, is that this I think a smart lob from Tim because we had just had a net cord. It's common with net cords like this that everybody kind of gets really close to the net, which is often when you want to lob. And I just think he probably should have gone more cross court because I'm able to get on this forehand, and it was my partner Vince that had been closer to the net. And then I reset this so we can get back in, and then Vince has a very good read here to poach that ball and finish the point. There's another speed up straight ahead. Um, They kind of say that speed ups are a 50-50 chance. I would probably agree with that. But I think because we're down in this game, I'm just trying to take those chances, and I like my chances straight ahead more than just going cross court dinking and being super patient. And so I kind of just took the risks to be more aggressive here, and it ends up paying off. Here was another drive from me just to try and be more aggressive. That's a good counter for him, though. Mixing up my dink locations. Something I can point out that I end up talking to Vince, my partner, about at the end of the match is that when I pull this dink far across my body, I'm going for the Ernie because I'm hoping that he's going to hit it down the line. And I was very close to getting, I might have even been able to hit it. But no matter what, my partner should be shifting over with me. And so you can see he was a little slow to get to that ball. and I wanted them to be shifting sooner just to put more pressure on my aggressive topspin dink when I change directions here, to really just try and be aggressive with that because Tim, I'd hit a good dink. And then I think Vince probably should have gone back to the middle more, like straight ahead with this, than trying to pull away with cross court. I dropped this one because it was low, staying back because the ball's still high. We're waiting until we hit a good reset. Here's a tip that I can give is this Tim had hit it pretty low to the ground, and so it kind of sit up a little bit slower, sat up a little bit slower. And I like Vince's choice to drive this one. Because some like I've talked about in some of my other videos, when you are back behind the baseline, it's common that driving is smart because then you can get a shorter ball. And so that's just what happened. He drove it and then we were able to get a shorter ball. So sometimes when you're in one of those like standoffs, they're both up at the net, you're just smashing balls at you. If you can try mixing in a drive, that way they kind of have to block the ball. And it's harder said than done, or it's easier said than done, but something to experiment with for sure than versus throwing up lobs and resets the whole time. I think this was just a good speed up. I think it's also a very good drop, and I popped this up pretty high, so we had a lot of options. And then I think just because he had so many options here, Vince probably should have just left this to me, and Vince should have been trying to cover the line. But it didn't look like my feet were there, and that was just a good speed up. There, I'm continuing to go straight ahead to try and get them to dink it to my partner. That's a nice speed up. Yeah, that's very good. There's another drive and drop combo. That's nice. I'm gonna miss wide. Yeah, I think that's a good miss. I'm gonna fast forward a bit. This three is getting a little long. Oof. This is something I kind of need to improve in my game. Is I think sometimes when I get this high ball, I miss wide. I think it's because I'm trying to be too perfect going to the line, but I think I need to be more comfortable just speeding it up at my opponent and hoping to clean up that next one. I think I usually try and avoid hitting it at them too often. I'm just trying to put it past them, but the court was not open for me to do that, and it was still a high ball. And something I want to work on, like I swung pretty fast in that. I want to work on with some of those, like picking a shoulder and slowing down my speed up, because that will likely set up an easier ball. And there's a lot of really good targets that you can aim at people for their shoulders and hips versus just going so hard every time. Good hands, going down the line to get to my partner. Now he's in some dinking, and then a missed ATP. You can kind of see like patterns wise, like in the beginning of the match, I was hitting. just a lot of backhand cross court dinks, but now I was trying to mix it up and just go straight ahead of me more often. And then they also just like I can continue to have more court that's open here because then I can decide to go out wide here to mix it up. Um, but if I just go to their backhand every time, then they're going to get into good habits, and they were just winning too many of those rallies, so I need to mix it up. Yeah, this is definitely the best dinking match I've ever been in. It was super tiring. And then again, what I was talking about, when I hit this ball behind him over here, you can see he's on the run and I'm hoping to Ernie, and he does hit the ball away from me, which was good. But I think Vince should have shifted sooner. He's shifting there, but I think just following me even more, being excited for this ball, um, because he was just slightly late there, which put us out of position. So, like, I think if your partner is going for the earning, you should shift with them. And if they're earning too much, it's putting you guys out of position. That's something you got to talk about as a partnership, but you should follow your partner. Okay, I like this speed up from me because it was I went to his back end pulling the guy in the blue shorts out of the court, and then that opened up the middle for me. So then Tim had to kind of stretch with his backhand. And then this is an impatient speed up here because I just had a good dink. That's not a dead dink. He doesn't want to speed that up. Oof. This is a good point. This is what I was talking about again of Vince and I trying to be more aggressive on our thirds. And so I'm being aggressive off of his third. I'm crashing. I just continue to try and take my chances here. And then they did a good job of getting the ball lower. When it did get low to my back end like that, I probably should have reset that. But I wanted to take the 50-50 of crashing and just hitting some wild volleys. A tweener there for me. I don't know why. I think when it comes between my legs, I just like to do that. But then I like this choice to attack straight ahead because I think this ding popped up a little bit more. I got my paddle down, and then um, I think something that some YouTubers have been talking about is imagining like your opponent is a wall. And so I actually did a very good job of this. I don't think I was thinking about this in my head. Maybe I just have the natural pattern down. But something that's being taught is if you attack like straight ahead, just like if you're hitting with the wall, it's just going to keep coming back to you. But then if you pull across your body, creates more of a triangle, and you probably want to prep the other stroke. But here, I'm actually going to slow this down to see if that is helpful. Um, but I get the dead dink. No, not on this one, but the next one. And then what I'm talking about is I speed up straight ahead like this, and the most plausible place for him to go with this is just straight back. And so then you can see I prep with my forehand here, and I'm ready for that next one. So that's something you can kind of experiment with is when I do speed up to this location, where does the ball go? And a good way to do that is to practice with a wall, because just like a wall, people are going to follow the same tendencies of where they're heading to. There's another drive and drop, so I can get in. And then a missed reset from me. I honestly probably should have been a little bit farther forward, just because he did get the ball behind him. I should probably should anticipate that and moved in a little bit more. Thinking straight ahead. Nice. Yeah, I hope you can notice the different kind of strategy, like strategic change that we made, and that it's working pretty well for us here. Yeah, that was another attack from me straight ahead. Good hands. I think Vince probably should have reset this one. It looks like he even did try and slow down, but the rally stayed pretty fast there. He probably, once he had kind of given his shot at attacking from the transition because he had a higher one and he was down, he wanted to reset that. Another drive, getting us in. And then I can also point out like when you're aggressive in the beginning of the rally, I think it's a good way to kind of put your opponents on their heels. And especially like at this level with speed ups and counters, you really need to be leaning forward to hit the counter well. And so I think me hitting a good drive here kind of backed him off the line. Um, and then he's not really leaning forward there, he's just reacting to my hit, and then I'm able to clean it up pretty easily. I think like if you can be aggressive in the beginning of the rally, it kind of just sets a good tone for the point. And I think something that helped in this match especially was that I was like a bigger presence in the beginning of the point, just to kind of put them back in their heels, being like on defense instead of like, oh, we're here and we're trying to be aggressive off your balls. Good reset. Nice. Something that I was focusing on these counters, and I was just trying to get the ball down best I could. So it was this shot, not here, but that one that I just got down that won us that point. Who sped this up though? Yep. So this is another bad speed up. And that's why I was able to be on top of it. He's way off the line again here. I think maybe they were trying to change their game plan too, just because they were like we had the momentum here. I think we're this is one of the last points for us to win this match. Perhaps he's just trying to be more aggressive to get the momentum back, but this is not the right shot to be aggressive on. He did it cross court. Another drive, easy drop to get in. Nice. But yeah, this was one of the most fun matches I've been in because I was really tired. I needed to take a timeout in the second game to try and catch my breath. And I knew that my partner was kind of doing a lot of watching, a lot of me just hitting my cross-court dinks. And I wasn't winning those rallies in the beginning. And so we kind of needed to change something up. And I encourage you to do the same in your matches when stuff isn't going well. Try and think with your partner, like how can we switch up the patterns and switch up the style of play that is being played. And I think deciding to attack straight ahead more worked well for us, kind of playing more to our strengths of getting my partner involved and his cross-court dinking because he's very consistent. And I just was able to acknowledge like, hey, like I'm tired and I'm not winning these backhand cross-court dinking rallies. Like we need to change something, and it ended up working. So thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something.